Hey, I'm Mark Housel, and this is a video to go along with my most recent blog, Advice for Kids of All Ages. I do have to say that not only have I been guilty of some of these in the past, but I'm definitely sure that I'm still guilty of some of them today. The ones I'll go over in the videos are just a couple. There's definitely a lot more in the blog, and I hope you check them out. So first one I wanted to start with is learn to pick up on body language. You know, I have kids all the time that are like, especially in the younger grades, they're like, poke, 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 and they're having an awesome time. And you look at the kid that they're having an awesome time with, and the kid's like, or one of these, and you're like, listen, you have to pick up on social cues. You have to understand. This is why we do what we do. We talk about empathy and character education and you know, social awareness. Kids have to pick up on stuff like that. You know, if you're having your fun and it's taking away from everyone else's fun, then that's an issue. And we definitely have to try to do our best to pick up on other people's cues. Next, there are other people in the world. There's other people in the world. And, you know, that kid who, you know, you're sitting there talking to a bunch of kids and another kid walks along, they bump into every single one of them, don't say a word and keep on going, or the little boy or little girl at the water park that doesn't need to wait in the line like everybody else, or this one's my favorite. You got that person who, you know, they're driving on the road, the adult, and they're weaving in and out of traffic, right? And, you know, a little bit down the road, you look over, and there they are right next to you, and I want to like knock on their window and be like, psst, hey, you know, you just put 134 people's lives in jeopardy, and now here we are at the same light. Was it worth it? And you think about it, you know, your rush is no more important than anybody else's rush, unless you're rushing to the hospital or something's a dire emergency. There are other people in the world, and we definitely have to keep that in mind. Next, listening is not an optional skill. If you want to learn to juggle or you want to learn to play the guitar or the ukulele, that's awesome. Do that. But it's optional. Your life could be great with or without the guitar, with or without a ukulele. But listening is not an optional skill. And I'll tell you what, and here's my getting old alarm, ding, 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 I'm getting old. Over the last 10 years or so, I have seen such a decline in my students' ability to listen. I can't even believe it. And, you know, I have the privilege of getting my kids for 6 years. So every year I see my kindergartners and first graders, they come in lower than the group before them. But the beauty of it is they always progress. You know, they always get better. I haven't ever met a kid who hasn't. But the issue is when your starting point is so low, you're only going to end up so high. And I'll tell you what, you talk about social media. I swear that our complete and utter addiction to social media is a huge, huge factor in our students' inability to listen and focus on multi-step directions. And forget about multi-step directions, just one-step directions. And it really has been a big change and something that needs to change in our society. So listening is not an optional skill. Next, try to listen to all the directions and not just a teeny tiny part of them. And you know, if you've ever been in charge coaching or teaching of a whole bunch of kids at one time, and you're like, hey, listen, we're gonna stand up and we're gonna, you know what happens, right? You got 19 out of 20 first graders are standing right now because you said the word stand. Kids want to act and they want to move, and that's awesome. But what we need to do is we need to try to corral them in a way where we use our action words at the end. We have it at the very end, the action words like, hey, this is what we're going to do. Now let's stand up and go. Or you have some sort of signal for them where you say, hey, listen, I'm going to clap when it's time to get up and move. And you give them your directions. And at the end, you start clapping, they get up, they move, and hopefully that'll work. But we definitely need to get all the directions and not a teeny tiny portion. Next, you can't do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. And again, here's my ding, 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 old person alarm. My old person alarm goes off for this one because every year, more and more kids come in with less and less apprehension to our school. And I'll give you an example. A couple of years back, we had a really young group come in, and it was like a tennis match. It was like one kid talking, then another kid talking, and then another kid. There were like 7 or 8 kids, and I just backed up and I listened. And you got to understand, this was like the first minute of me ever meeting these kids. So they walk into school. They walk into my gym, and they're like, "This is dumb." And another kid's like, "This is boring. When are we going to do something? When are we going to play basketball? Where's Mr. Jordan? Oh, Mr. Jordan's dead. Hey, Mr. Housel, is Mr. Jordan dead?" And I'm like, no, Mr. Jordan is not dead. And it was like a Calgon commercial, a little bit, if you're old like me and you know what a Calgon commercial is, or if you're younger and you've ever seen Shrek, the Shrek birthday party, where he gets so mad and he slams the cake, and the kid's like, "Do the roar," like that. And you'll laugh if you know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, you'll be like, "What is this guy talking about?" But there's got to be some form of respect that comes into a situation, a respect for elders. I hate that term, but it's like, yes, we have to give respect to get it, but there's got to be a certain level when you step into a new situation or any kind of situation. You can't do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it and be successful, in my opinion. Next, sometimes you have to take what's coming to you, and I will say, put a leg out, and I'll understand, and I'll try to help you understand what I'm talking about. When I was a kid, my dad was not one of those, "Hey, I'm going to pull the car over if you keep it up" kind of dads. He was one of those reach around the back of the seat and squeeze your calf as hard as he could kind of dads. And man, it hurt. And you think about it, the natural human reaction, somebody's going to reach around a seat and grab your calf, is to move it. So what I came to painfully learn is the more I moved my leg, the angrier he got, the harder the squeeze. And I think, this holds true for a lot of different things. Yeah, we don't want to go around squeezing kids' calves, but I will say this, when it comes time, when you did what you did and you earn the consequences, it's time to take what's coming to you. Stick your leg out there and take what's coming to you, because what happens is things wind up getting worse when you don't. So, and us adults have to hold them accountable for sure, and again, we don't want to be squeezing calves, but we do want to hold them accountable, just like we want to hold ourselves accountable. Last thing I'll say is, do not let school be your only education. There's so many things to do and learn and create and explore in this world. And even us adults, some adults, some of us, the last time we ever learned or the last time we ever cracked a book was when we were in school. Don't let school be your only education. Get out there, learn, read, and take those devices, put them down once in a while and look around. There's an unbelievable world out there. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this video, make sure you make sure you click the like button. If you go onto our blog, hopefully you will subscribe if you like it, or pass it on to somebody who you think might be interested. And I hope you have a great day. Make it great and keep on moving. Thank you so much for watching.